Welcome to the Deep Dive. You know how we all use the internet every day? Well, today we're going way back to uncover its fascinating history.
It really is remarkable how this global network went from a small research project to, well, this massive force in our world.
Totally. Let's rewind back to the 1960s, the time of, bell bottoms and the birth of ARPANET, the internet's precursor.
ARPANET, a creation of the U.S. Department of Defense. Its goal was to connect researchers across the country. They wanted to share resources and information more easily.
Makes sense. Collaboration is always important.
Yes.
But what made ARPANET so unique? Wasn't it just a bunch of computers communicating?
Well, that's where things get interesting. ARPANET introduced packet switching. It was revolutionary.
Packet switching.
Yeah, instead of sending data in one big chunk, it would be broken down into smaller packets, each with its own address and routing info.
So like sending a puzzle piece by piece instead of the whole thing at once.
Precisely. These packets could travel independently across different paths on the network and reassemble at the destination. This made the network more efficient and resilient. If one path was busy, the packets could just take a detour.
Pretty clever. Okay, picture this. 1969, researchers at UCLA are trying to send the very first message over ARPANET to Stanford. They typed low, aiming for login, but you won't believe this.
The system crashed. It's kind of a fittingly dramatic start for a technology that would change everything, don't you think?
Oh, definitely a cliffhanger moment. I'm assuming they got it working eventually, right?
Of course they did. And just a few years later, someone almost used the network to order, get this, an electric shaver from another country.
Wow, they were way ahead of their time. They had a glimpse of e-commerce before it even existed.
Yeah.
But how did we go from ARPANET, this government project, to the internet as we know it?
Well, the 70s and 80s were all about setting the foundation, establishing the rules. Think protocols and standards, the essential languages and agreements that allowed different networks to communicate.
Like a digital United Nations, getting everyone to agree.
Exactly. And the start of this era was TCP/IP, the Transmission Control Protocol Internet Protocol. It's like the universal language of the internet, ensuring that data packets reach their destination correctly.
Okay, I'm starting to see the bigger picture. But what about those long, complicated number strings used to identify computers? Not very user-friendly.
Absolutely not. That's where the domain name system DNS comes in. Think of it as a giant phone book for the internet. It translates those numerical addresses into memorable names like google.com.
So no more memorizing those impossible number sequences.
Exactly. And, Elizabeth Feinler and her team at the Network Information Center were the ones behind this. In the early days, they assigned addresses manually. It's amazing how much things have changed.
Wow, can you imagine? Calling someone up to get your website address.
Feinler also had this brilliant idea to categorize domain names based on location, like .edu for schools. Simple, but it changed everything. It really did. Those early pioneers really set the stage for the incredible growth the internet would see in the coming years.
So we have the network, the protocols, a user-friendly way to address things.
Yeah.
What happened next? When did the internet really take off?
That takes us to the 1990s, a decade of major growth for the internet.
The decade of grunge and, of course, dial-up modems.
Exactly. Commercialization was a key factor in this growth. Companies like PSINet and UNet saw the potential and started allowing commercial traffic on the internet.
That's when businesses realized they could make money from the internet.
You got it. This sparked the dot-com boom. Investors were pouring money into internet startups. Everyone wanted to be online. It felt like the whole world was rushing to get a piece of the digital pie.
The dot-com boom. Weren't there some crazy stories from that time?
Oh, tons. Remember Pets.com? They sold pet supplies online, spent millions on Super Bowl commercials, had a sock puppet mascot. They still went bankrupt in just a couple of years. It shows the excitement and maybe some of the, let's say, irrationality of that era.
Sounds wild. But during all this, something incredible was happening. The birth of the World Wide Web.
Yes, Tim Berners-Lee's invention. The WWW wasn't just about connecting computers, it was about connecting information.
So was it like one massive online library?
More like a giant web of documents all linked together through hyperlinks. You could click on a word and instantly be taken to another document, maybe even on a different computer, anywhere in the world.
Pretty amazing. But I bet it wasn't the most visually stunning experience in the beginning.
No, not really. Early web pages were mostly text, very basic. Then came Mosaic, the first browser that could display images. It changed everything.
Wow, images. That sounds revolutionary now.
It was. Mosaic made the web visual and engaging. It led to the multimedia-rich internet we have today.
So we went from basic messages between computers to an interactive visual web of information. What a journey. But this is just the beginning, right?
Oh, absolutely. We've only scratched the surface. The internet's journey is far from over.
It's mind-blowing how it went from researchers sending just 2 letters to this globally connected visual network.
And things only get more interesting from here. Today, we're stepping into the 21st century, the era of social media, smartphones, and the rise of these huge tech giants.
Okay, buckle up, everyone, because we're about to see how the internet went from connecting computers to connecting people on a massive scale.
We left off talking about the dot-com bubble, that period of, excitement and speculation that eventually crashed.
Right, it's like a reminder that even with huge technological leaps, there are always going to be bumps along the way.
Absolutely. But even as that bubble burst, the groundwork for the internet's next transformation was being laid, the rise of social media.
Social media, it's such a powerful force today. But where did it all begin? Was there, early social networking before Facebook and Twitter?
Oh, definitely. Platforms like bulletin board systems or BBSs were like local online communities. People could connect, share messages, and even play games together.
So kind of like a digital town square, everyone hanging out and chatting.
Exactly. Then came things like AOL Instant Messenger, AM, which brought real-time chat to everyone.
Oh, AM. I spent so much time on there chatting with friends. It was like texting before texting existed.
It was. Those early chat platforms were the precursors to the social networking sites that defined the early 2000s.
Like Friendster, right? That was one of the first sites that let you make a profile, connect with friends, share photos and messages.
Yep, Friendster was huge. Millions of users. It was a pivotal moment. It showed everyone the potential power of online social networks.
And then came MySpace, which, took personalization to another level.
Oh yeah, MySpace was all about self-expression. Remember those customized profiles, background music, all the glitter graphics?
Oh, I definitely spent way too much time on my MySpace page. It was fun, though. It felt like my personality, but online.
That's exactly why it was so successful. MySpace tapped into our desire to connect and share who we are, our interests with the world.
And then, then came Facebook.
Right. Facebook started as a way for college students to connect, and it just blew up, connecting billions of people across the globe.
It's hard to even describe how much Facebook has changed things, how we communicate, get our news, even how we interact with businesses.
It's true. Facebook has become, for better or worse, deeply woven into our lives.
Alongside Facebook, a whole bunch of other social media platforms popped up, each with its own thing going on.
Yeah, Twitter with its short messages became the place for news and discussions.
And Instagram, all about visuals, it turned everyone into photographers.
Then you had Snapchat, TikTok, countless others focusing on specific groups, interests, and ways of interacting online.
It's crazy how fast social media went from this new thing to just part of life.
It really shows how powerful the internet is. It connects people and lets us share information and ideas in ways never seen before.
But, of course, social media has its downsides, too.
Yeah, definitely. There are issues like cyberbullying, the spread of misinformation, and all the worries about privacy and data security.
Remember the Cambridge Analytica stuff a few years back? That was a huge wake-up call about how Facebook user data was being collected and used for, targeted advertising, especially political ads.
It started a really important conversation about data privacy and the responsibility of these massive tech companies. It's a conversation that's still going on.
For sure. But along with social media, there was another big change brewing, the mobile revolution.
Oh yeah, smartphones and mobile internet changed everything.
I remember those early cell phones, so clunky could barely send a text. We've come a long way.
We have. Early services like iMode in Japan gave us a glimpse of what was possible, but the iPhone's arrival in 2007, that's what really kicked things off.
The iPhone was a game changer. It wasn't just a phone, it was like a mini computer with internet, apps, everything.
And with it came a whole new way of interacting with the internet.
We weren't tied to desktops anymore. We could connect, get information, do practically anything online from anywhere.
Exactly. The mobile revolution made the internet truly everywhere.
And then came the explosion of apps, which are essential to our lives now.
Think about it. Ride sharing, Food delivery, navigation, banking, social media, the list goes on and on.
It's amazing how seamlessly mobile tech has become part of our daily routine.
It really has, so ingrained that it's hard to picture life without it. And it's created so many new opportunities for businesses and entrepreneurs.
Right. From app developers to mobile marketers to online stores, the mobile revolution opened up so many doors for innovation and growth.
It's amazing how the internet just keeps evolving and shaping the world in ways we couldn't have imagined.
It really speaks to our ingenuity, our desire to connect and to create new things.
But as we've seen, with each new development, there are new challenges and ethical considerations.
We've talked about privacy, data misuse, but there's also the issue of the digital divide.
The digital divide, the gap between those who have access to technology and those who don't, it's a real problem. It can make existing inequalities worse and limit opportunities for those without reliable internet.
It's a reminder that even though the internet connects billions, there's still work to do to make sure everyone has equal access and opportunity.
You're absolutely right. And as technology keeps advancing, we'll have to face even more complex ethical and social questions.
Like artificial intelligence, for example.
Yeah, AI is already transforming industries and how we interact with tech in some really profound ways. Its influence will only grow. AI definitely deserves its own deep dive someday.
For sure. Well, we've covered a lot in this part of our exploration.
We've seen how the internet went from connecting computers to connecting people, building online communities, and empowering individuals in completely new ways.
We've also touched on the challenges and opportunities that have come along the way.
But the story's not over. It's amazing how much we've already covered, from its origins to social media and mobile tech.
It really is. And for this last part, we're going to focus on how the internet has changed the way we live, work, and, well, have fun. Things like shopping, entertainment. The internet's impact has been huge.
Absolutely. Let's jump into e-commerce, where the internet has completely changed how we buy and sell stuff.
E-commerce, it's come a long way. From those early days with dial-up and clunky websites to the smooth online shopping experience we have now.
You know, it's fascinating to think that the very first online sale actually happened way back in 1971. That's even before what we think of as the internet existed.
Wow, back when computers were like the size of refrigerators. What was this first sale anyway?
Believe it or not, a group of students at Stanford used ARPANET to sell marijuana to students at MIT.
Not exactly what you'd expect for the start of e-commerce, but it shows that even back then, people saw the potential of the internet for buying and selling.
For sure. But it wasn't until the 1990s, with companies like Amazon and eBay coming onto the scene, that e-commerce really took off.
Amazon, starting as an online bookstore and becoming, well, this e-commerce giant, it's a classic internet success story.
It is. Their focus on customers, convenience, and offering a huge range of products, it changed the retail landscape forever.
And eBay, connecting buyers and sellers all over the world through online auctions, that was revolutionary at the time.
It was. Those companies really paved the way for the e-commerce boom we see today. It's incredible that we can buy almost anything online now. Groceries, clothes, electronics, even cars, all from home.
It's so convenient. But e-commerce isn't just about individuals buying and selling. It's changed how businesses work too. It's given them access to global markets, streamlined supply chains, and new ways to connect with customers.
That's right. And it's had a big impact on consumers too. More choices, better prices, access to products that might not be available locally.
It's definitely empowered consumers in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But like with any big technological change, e-commerce has its challenges too.
Yeah, it's impacted local businesses, raised concerns about jobs, and there are ongoing debates about data privacy, consumer protection, and the environmental impact of all that online shopping and shipping.
It's a complex issue.
Yeah.
And as tech keeps moving forward, we can expect even more innovations and changes in the world of e-commerce.
Absolutely. So let's switch gears and talk about another area where the internet's been revolutionary: entertainment.
Oh, yeah. From streaming movies and music to online gaming and social media, the internet's become our main source of entertainment.
Do you remember renting VHS tapes or buying CDs? It feels like ages ago.
It does. The internet completely changed how we consume media.
Streaming services like Netflix and Spotify have been huge game changers.
Netflix, from mailing DVDs to becoming this streaming giant, it's another amazing internet success story.
Shows you the power of innovation and adapting to what people want. And Spotify, with millions of songs at your fingertips, it's transformed the music industry.
For sure. Streaming services have made entertainment more accessible, affordable, and personalized, and they've shaken things up for traditional media, like cable TV, movie theaters, and record labels.
The shift from physical media to downloads and streaming has been massive, but the internet hasn't just changed how we consume entertainment. It's created new forms of entertainment, too.
Like online gaming, which has blown up in popularity. It's created these huge online communities where people can connect and compete.
And then you have platforms like YouTube and TikTok, major centers for user-generated content and entertainment.
YouTube, it started as just a video sharing site, and now it's a platform for creators, educators, entertainers. It's wild how much it's evolved. And TikTok, with its short videos and trends, it's captured a whole new generation.
It's clear that the internet has made entertainment more democratic. Anyone with a camera or a good idea can reach a global audience.
It's empowered creators and transformed the entertainment industry in some really big ways. As we wrap up this deep dive into internet history, it's amazing to think about how far we've come.
From a research project to a global force that touches every aspect of our lives, it's been an incredible journey.
We've seen how it's revolutionized communication, information sharing, shopping, and entertainment. We've talked about the challenges too, privacy issues, internet shutdowns, the growing power of these huge tech companies.
And looking ahead, the internet's going to keep changing in ways we can't even predict.
New technologies, new uses, new challenges, it's all going to shape the next chapter of the internet. But one thing's for sure, the internet has changed the world, and its impact will be felt for generations to come.
So as we finish this exploration, we encourage you to think about the internet's amazing journey and how it's influenced your own life.
What are some of your favorite internet memories? What hopes or concerns do you have for its future? We'd love to hear your thoughts.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into internet history. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep connecting.
And remember, stay curious, deep divers.